I might come out of retirement for that. What is it, the 25 Diva Battle Royal?
Dancing with Jillian. Do you remember that?
I think I'm just burnt by that experience. The women were across the board told to tone it down. It was just a little bit too good. And I hope she doesn't hate me for saying this, but she didn't want to me.
Incesty storyline.
Yeah.
And I heard you actually was like pretty into that storyline.
Yes, of course.
Tell me about that.
Well, because...
Welcome if you're entering the Belle. This is DS, and we have a very special guest here today. Oh my god! You guys have been asking me for this for a very long time. Lea Burchill's here!
Thank you so much.
And I hope this is a little Lea Burchill, and you know.
I'm obsessed. It's the gothic, but it's also giving Victorian, which is like my favorite historical era.
I love that. People were like asking for Lea Burchill for a very long time because you had quite an iconic run.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you feel that way.
So let's talk about it. Right from the start, I learned that you actually fell in love with wrestling because it was not real.
Right. Yes, because at first, obviously, I believed it was real. And then I was watching it, but I was kind of averse to violence a little bit.
Same,
at
too.
that time.
Yeah.
You know, things have changed since then. But at the time when I was watching it and I couldn't look. I went to school and I told my friends, you know, it's so cool, you know, this American wrestling, you know, back in Germany.
Right.
It's like, it's so cool, but, you know, it's so brutal. And the guy goes, well, you know, it's not real, right? You know, they're not really hurting each other. I thought that was the greatest thing I'd ever heard.
I love
So I was like, now I can watch it and not feel bad.
And to give a little bit more context is your parents, they're opera singer and ballerina.
Yes.
See, that's where the elegance is coming from. That's just like innately there.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I feel very much I take after my mom in that way kind of thing. And also when I was a kid, you know, I did jazz dance and things like that. So.
Well, we're going to talk about some dancing for
Okay.
sure. But even before you joined WWE, people were already talking about your name because you made history in OVW with the first ever women's ladder match in the history of pro wrestling, is what they're saying?
No, it's the history of WWE.
Got it.
In pro wrestling, there had been girl ladder matches.
Right. That match is so iconic. It even made into WWE's own ladder match DVD, right?
Yes, I was excited about that.
Yeah.
I thought I'd make more royalties off of it, but you know, it was amazing. You know, it was first of all because it was me and Beth Phoenix, and so Beth Phoenix obviously is amazing. And you know, you can step into a ring with Beth Phoenix, and she's one of those wrestlers that wants everybody to look good.
Okay.
So she's not selfish. You know, she comes in and she's like, okay, how can we make you look strong and me look strong, and let's work together and make this good.
Yeah.
Plus, you feel very safe with her. Then when Al Snow came to us and was like, we're gonna build up to a ladder match, we were like, what, really, you're trusting us with that? You know, so that was really cool. And then also we'd really worked it out very well beforehand, because with ladders there's kind of an element of risk involved.
Right.
You know, it has to be more worked out than maybe just a regular match, because you have to know exactly the positioning and everything so that people don't get hurt, people don't get injured. And so we put it together and we just felt very confident, despite the fact that it had that sense of danger to it.
Right.
It was possibly one of the times that I felt the most confident walking into a ring.
Wow.
Just
okay.
feeling like this is going to go good. Because I'd never, in my 20 years of wrestling, I never stopped feeling nervous wrestling. And I think the main element was always thinking, what if something goes wrong, somebody forgets, and then you look stupid? It wasn't the fact of, I'm scared so I'm going to get hurt. It was always, what if something goes wrong and I don't know what to do? And so that was one of the times where I was so confident that we knew what we were doing.
Right.
And so I just remember standing behind the curtain. It was kind of see-through. She went in first, and then I'm just standing behind the curtain going, yes, like I'm excited for this. I'm ready for this.
Nice.
And then the match went really well. Everything pretty much went perfect. So all in all, successful night.
I mean, we've seen a lot of women's ladder matches by now, but even to this day's standard, that was a really hardcore match.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
you guys were really able to go all the way. We hear a lot about how, like, back in the days, WWE especially, they're told to wrestle like women, you know?
Right.
Was that not the case in OVW?
It was to an extent. We did get a lot from Al Snow, like, work your gimmick. Your gimmick is also that you're women, you know, pay attention to that and stuff like that. But I think in terms of physically, we were allowed to really wrestle and work. You know, there was a little bit less of that. Don't look too good. You know, I feel like that was the motivation in WWE. I just remember, was it Michelle McCool and Melina had this really amazing, like, standout match where they went outside the ring and there was a bunch of really cool spots. And right after that, the women were across the board told to tone it down. You know, it was just a little bit too good.
That is wild.
Because they want to keep the women on a lower kind of level than the guys, you know. Whereas that has apparently changed somewhat.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That OVW class is like star-studded from you and Beth to ODB and Serena. That was a really good group of people.
Yeah, it was really great. Yeah, I was lucky.
And then later, Rosa Mendes joined in, Alicia Fox. Yeah. What was that environment like?
It was fun. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned Alicia Fox because she was like one of my favorite girls to work with.
Okay.
She was always, I mean, she came in as a model essentially. You know, she was kind of plucked from modeling.
Right.
And didn't really know anything about wrestling when she came. But she was one of those girls, she just really wanted to learn. She wanted to do the absolute best that she could. She tried really hard and she was athletic. You know, obviously she's gorgeous. She was just one of those people who really was like, no, I'm not going to phone it in. You know, I'm not going to just coast on, okay, they plucked me because I'm a model, so I'm good looking. And, you know, but she really, really worked hard.
I think you might be her first WWE match.
Quite possibly. Yeah, I think I might have been. Yeah.
Katie really tells it all. Women have been breaking barriers all along the way, and now the action just keeps getting wilder in and outside of the ring. And speaking of wild, UFC 319 is about to pop off right in Chicago, and my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook are here to get you in on it. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get instantly $200 in bonus bets. Yes, instantly. And all you have to do is to sign up using my promo code Ring the Bell. Whether you're hyped for the Octagon or just love the thrill of live betting, DraftKings make it easy for you to stay in on the action. You can even stack your bonus bets on same game parlays for a shot at even bigger payout, or bet live as the action unfolds. And hey, if sports betting isn't legal in your state yet, you can still join in the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and win cash prizes. So again, bet $5 and get $200 instantly when you sign up with promo code Ring the Bell. That's promo code Ring the Bell with E. You know how to spell it. Thank you, DraftKings.
Now, let's talk about your WWE debut. Because you made your debut with Paul Burchill.
Yes.
Now, tell me about your relationship with Paul. How was that?
It was good. I mean, we actually knew each other from England back way before WWE. So we both worked for a promotion called FWA. In England, which was the cool indie promotion at that time. It was like probably the most significant promotion that existed. So we knew each other from that, and we also sometimes would train together and stuff. And then he went obviously to WWE first, and then when I joined, like he was back in OVW for a while after he got injured. I guess they were looking for something again for him to do. We got paired up in OVW when the writers came down to watch everybody work.
Oh, got it.
So they paired us up as me, like his valet kind of thing. That was the first time that I really thought, we would be good together.
Okay.
You know? Long story short, we pitched it, and I guess they liked it.
Oh, was he a pirate? Did he have a pirate
he was a
gimmick?
pirate, before that.
Was he originally paired with Shelly?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, for a minute. I don't know if that went on for a long time. I think he was pirate first, and then Shelly joined him, and then he got injured, and then that thing got...
Oh, got it. Your debut was so it made a big impact because it was very rare for women to be in an intergender action like that. You start like joining in these like 2-on-1 matches.
Yeah.
That was so cool. How did that come about?
You know, we had a lot of false starts with different storylines and stuff like that. So I think at the beginning they were like, I can't remember if there was like an initial what we were supposed to do, but they were thinking like, what can we do with you? And then we were going to do that thing with William Regal.
Okay.
Where we use William Regal to get us ahead, kind of thing. So then, because he was the commissioner, so then he set up these intergender matches basically to give us an advantage, kind of thing. But also, I mean, again, going back to my FWA days, I was basically the only girl wrestler in that promotion.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to wrestle guys all the time.
They knew that background.
Right.
And it made you really stand out because, you know, that was, again, very rare to see women go beat up men like that. Now, a lot of people remember you for that little incesty storyline.
Yes.
And I heard you actually was like pretty into that storyline.
Yes, of course.
Tell me about that.
Well, because, I mean, it's cool, it's edgy.
Okay.
Right? And also, I was a big fan of the movie The Crow.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, the bad guys, Top Dollar and Micah, they're half siblings.
Right.
So they have this little incestuous thing going on. So ever since then, I thought, that's kind of cool and edgy. So when they came to us and brought it up, I thought,
so they brought it up first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's kind of cool.
Yes.
You know,
I said, I love it. And then I think too, because I mean, the reveal was going to be that we had a big meeting before our debut about it, because they were already a little bit like, maybe they're not brother and sister that are actually, sleeping together. Maybe it's the reveal is they're only step brother and sister. So there's no blood relation.
Okay.
Or on the flip side, they're half brother and sister, or they're actual brother and sister, but we're only teasing the incest and it's not actually happening. So it was one of those two things. It wasn't going to be like full blown. But also, I mean, he's not my actual sibling, so it doesn't matter. I think those people who thought that we were actually brother and sister. So maybe that was also contributed to people being sort of disgusted by it.
I mean, it's kind of interesting because you see kind of incesty storyline in like TV shows and movies, like Game of Thrones, White Lotus, but when it comes to wrestling, they're like, wait a minute.
Yes, because I thought too, everybody's giving me a hard time about this incestuous storyline, and then Game of Thrones comes along and everybody acts like that was the most genius thing they'd ever heard in their lives. And like, we did it first, we tried to.
I still remember when you were teasing like Mickie James and like, if we go out with John Cena, it will be tons of fun. Like, oh my god. Now let's talk about your storyline with Mickie James, because that was such a memorable feud. You obviously had that huge match in pay-per-view. By the way, Mickie says, "Why are you so cool?" She obviously still to this day like have such fond memory of you.
Same, it goes both ways. Yeah, I love Mickie.
So tell me about being in that big storyline like very early in your career in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, when I said about Beth Phoenix, who always wants to work with you, Mickie is another one of those people. She's always like goes out of her way to be like, okay, how are we both going to look good? What do you want to do that's going to make you look strong or exciting or whatever? It's always about, let's have the best match together. Whereas there are some individuals where they might be more concerned about making themselves look better and sort of keeping you, and you really have to fight for your contribution,
Got it. Yeah.
So with Mickie, it's not like that. And also, she's just a wonderful human being. She's just amazing to be around. You can tell, sorry, I'm going to go off on a slight tangent. Yeah. But like when you go to a signing, her line is always so long, and it's partially because of how she interacts with fans. How she interacts with people. There's just like a certain warmth and energy that's coming from her that other people don't necessarily have.
I was rewatching some of her matches with Mickie, and the reaction you guys are getting were so loud. People loved Mickie James.
Yes.
And they, in turn, hated you.
Right.
yeah.
Which is what you want. Yes.
I mean, you had multiple matches with Mickie, even in TNA, which we'll talk about. But what kind of stands out to you the most?
I think probably actually Street Fight in TNA.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I just remember, and also I have like I put together a little like wrestling reel of me doing stuff, and I just have this one clip where I'm like hitting her with the belt, and I'm like, she really let me do that. But it was awesome, and she's very creative and always coming up with ideas for everybody. So.
So a lot of the wrestling fans obviously remember the Night of Champions match, but a lot of the Diva Stans have a very fond memory of you dancing with Jillian. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I don't think that was my best dance performance I ever did.
It was just so random.
Yes.
But like it's just perfect with your character in a way.
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, I wished I'd choreographed something because it just felt kind of. But like as you say, random. They were like, oh, what would be funny if she dances, and then Beth is mad, so it was funny. But
you have an actual dance background.
I've done like jazz dance.
Got it.
And some pole dancing.
Now you moved to ECW, and then there was a slight bit of a change in your aesthetics.
Yes.
You changed up the look to more goth.
Yes. Well, basically what happened was because I was balleting a lot, for Paul, and I was just figuring out what to wear for that. And one time I had like these black leather leggings and then the corset, and then I got a lot of compliments on it.
Okay.
And then Vince said to me, well, if you're doing this goth clothes, you should also do like goth makeup.
Oh.
So that's kind of how that started.
Vince's idea.
Yes.
Okay.
So I started doing that. And to be honest with you, that wasn't like my favorite look of my career. And I no, I love you. No, this is very sophisticated and elegant and beautiful. I just felt like, I mean, I like the goth. For example, Rhea Ripley does it really well and stuff like that. I just feel like because I was left to my own devices, you know, back then in WWE, I don't know how it is now. If you weren't like one of the top girls, you were kind of left to your own devices in terms of like hair and makeup and stuff like that. And I was not good at it.
Are you not a fashion person?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wear this like every day.
Oh, nice.
So I look back at that time and I feel a little bit like that wasn't my best look.
Wow.
You know, which I want to apologize if anybody, because I know there's some people out there that love it, and then thank you very much for loving it. But
there's this like old interview that you did with WWE when they're like, I design all my clothes. I love what I wear.
I pretty much design my own outfits. I like to be in control of what I'm wearing.
I just thought you would be like a fashion girly.
No, that was probably in character.
Now, this is a time when you started feuding with more of, because you started wrestling in 2000, like early 2000. Yeah. And this is a time when you started wrestling more of the newer girls, like the Bella twins and Alicia Fox. So how was that change from working with like Beth Phoenix, Mickie James, to more of the girls that was just starting out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Bella twins, again, were people like Alicia Fox that really wanted to work and really wanted to learn. So it was kind of a pleasure doing that. And I also found that I have a certain talent for helping less experienced girls and making them look strong and making them look good, if I may say so myself. I think that I have that talent, and also I had the desire to do that.
Got it.
And so it was kind of fun for me. And they were easy to work with, and they were really wanted to push themselves. And they were also, if I suggested something, they were game. It wasn't like they would be like, oh, I don't want to do that, or you know, they were also not selfish for themselves.
Okay.
You know, so it was fun working with them.
Cool, because someone that I hear that about a lot is Victoria. And I heard Victoria was one of your first people to work with in WWE.
Yeah. I mean, Victoria, definitely, she's one of those that always helps the younger girls, both in and out of the ring. Because backstage, again, at that time, very much this wrestling hierarchy. You know, if you're new, you know, shut up, look at the floor and sit in the corner or shake everybody's hand, but don't get too friendly kind of thing. She would immediately come up and be like, hey, nice to meet you, and let me show you around, you know, so my first experience really being on the road wasn't being on the road right away. I was, somebody got injured who was supposed to go on the European tour.
Oh, so it was with live show first.
Yes. So I got put onto the European tour first before I was on TV.
Nice.
And then I teamed up with Victoria on that tour. And so she really took me under her wing and was like, I'm taking care of you, and took that on. So that was amazing.
Speaking of live shows, I heard there were a couple live shows they kind of teased out your Babyface run.
Yeah, you know what? I'd forgotten about that.
We know you as heel the entire run, but there were,
Yeah, but just recently somebody sent me a post on Twitter with a clip of me doing a Babyface comeback against like Beth and Michelle McCool.
Okay.
And I'd completely forgotten about that. You wouldn't believe how often people come up to me and go, hey, remember that match against so-and-so? I'm like, no, I don't know. It's something to do with my brain. It's
you think they were testing it out?
Me being a babyface? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it was just they needed a babyface at that particular moment in time, and I was there, and they were like, you do it.
What I really enjoyed was The Beautiful Nightmare.
Oh, thanks.
There was like one segment where you had the mask on, and you took it off, and there was another mask underneath. I feel like you had a lot of fun with what maybe little time that you were given, but you were like really giving 110%.
Yeah. Well, you have to, don't you? I mean, otherwise, well, you know, what's the point?
But I heard there was a storyline that you pitched with Hurricane that sounded like really cool. What was the love story with Hurricane?
Yes. Well, my idea was because at the time, right before we started the Hurricane thing, Paul was, I think he was in England for something. So I was sitting around for a couple of weeks. I was like, I have a couple of weeks while he's gone. I want to start the storyline so that I'm not just sitting at home.
Got it.
And then I had this idea that because he was always going around saving everybody, I had this idea that I would see him save somebody, and then I would go, because I liked him in the storyline.
Yeah.
So then I would fake getting injured so that he would save me, and then I would basically fall in love with a hurricane.
Yeah.
And then he, as Gregory Helms, would like bring me a flower or something and like try to flirt with me, and I would like completely just dismiss him because I wouldn't realize that it was the same person.
Yeah.
And then that would culminate then, like when we are having, Paul was going to get jealous of the Hurricane. They were going to have a match, and then I was going to try and help the Hurricane. But because I dismissed him as Gregory Helms, he was then going to turn on me, kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
You know,
so how does that pitching process work? Do you just like grab the writer and like, hey, there's a good story?
Yes, that, and also like I would write it down and I would email it, and then I would go and talk to them, but it doesn't always. Sometimes you just don't get a reaction.
Let's talk about your transition to TNA then.
Yeah.
That transition happened quite quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically I got released from WWE, and then I had obviously 90 days, and I was also here on a visa. So I was thinking, well, my visa also runs out in 90 days, because as soon as like the WWE thing runs out, my visa's done and I have to go back. If I want to stay in the country and work for TNA and do other things, I need to get started on the visa process basically immediately.
Got it.
So I immediately reached out to TNA and said, hey, do you guys need me, want me? And they said, well, we can't talk to you right now, so give us a call in 90 days. So I thought, okay. So then I started applying for my own visa once the 90 days were over. They got back in touch and said, hey, come for a tryout.
So that means you're eyeing on the Knockouts division even before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
I mean, there was a rumor that a lot of the WWE divas were eyeing on some of the stuff happening in TNA.
I mean, TNA was just so cool at that time.
Yeah.
Not that it's not cool now, but at that time it was definitely the edgier, smaller, but it was like the place to be, I thought, for
especially
sure.
with Knockouts division, they were really making differences. Yeah. Got it.
So I was excited about that.
So Winter. The whole Winter character was so good. It had everything the gays love. It's the mysticism and lesbianism. We were like, hell yeah, we're so into it. But the whole packaging was so cool too. So the storyline and the Winter character, how did that come about? It seemed very you. Did you come up with it?
No, Vince Russo called me and said, I have this, I want you to play a vampire.
Okay.
And I said, great, I love it. And then he sort of gave me an idea for maybe what the character kind of should look like. So I went out and bought her a wardrobe, and
And the thing is, I think that theme song is probably one of the best theme songs in TNA history.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. So they made it just for you.
I think so.
Yeah, such a good song. I listen to it sometimes. That one and
Nice.
Tara. It's such a good song.
Yeah.
Now, your storyline with Angelina. Angelina did a couple interviews where she was like, I freaking hated that entire thing. What's your thought on that, and what was it like working with Angelina Love?
I mean, she was actually great.
Okay.
Like, the only thing, and I hope she doesn't hate me for saying this, but she didn't want to kiss me.
Oh,
that was really the only thing that was an issue. Other than that, I mean, she performed unbelievably well. I thought it worked. Everything else she had to do, being zombified, obviously the wrestling part, everything, she was fantastic to work with outside of that. Since then, we got to wrestle each other on an indie show one time.
Okay.
And she was so great to work with as well.
Because you never got to wrestle
I never
her.
had gotten to wrestle her. So I was like, wow, this is really, I enjoyed this. So I really have only good things to say about it. I was just a little bit disappointed that there was not more, fire and passion between us.
But you enjoyed the storyline though.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of funny because I heard from someone that Angelina was actually quite freaked out by you because your acting was so like realistic.
I don't know if that's true, but who knows?
So you started doing the Red Mist.
Yes.
That was a really good addition to that character too. Yeah.
That was Al Snow's idea as well, I think.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So you became knockout champion, defeating Mickie James. I love, by the way, how like Mickie James became your like arch nemesis throughout your entire career.
I loved it too.
Meant to be.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. It felt very like validating. I think that during my run in WWE, it was never really about titles for me.
Okay.
Like since I started wrestling, it was never, I had that goal. Maybe that's why I didn't get it, because I didn't have that vision in my head of like, that's where I want to go. I'd always thought, it'd be so cool to just walk down that ramp one day. That was like my goal. It wasn't,
Got it.
I wasn't thinking about, I want to be women's champion, I want to be at WrestleMania, those kinds of thing. It was more like just the experience of being there. So I wasn't super sad that I never was WWE champion. It wasn't like, when you have something in life that you always want and you miss out on it, it's not that feeling.
Got it.
But at the same time, I felt that maybe if I compared my skill level to others that were there, I feel like maybe I deserve to have it at some point.
Right.
So when I got to TNA and then finally became champion, it meant something to me.
We were actually so shocked to find out that the reign had like such quick turnarounds because you dropped it really quickly, like twice.
Yes, yeah. No, that was the thing that I had a little bit of a gripe with, because what's the point of building it up for so long? Because it was so many months where I didn't even wrestle.
Yeah.
I came there week after week after week, and I just did like a backstage segment, which also I didn't mind.
You nailed it.
I really enjoy that part of it. You know, I enjoy playing a character and being, backstage and everything. But yeah, that was my gripe too, is just storyline wise, not even so much for me, but just storyline wise, that you would build it up to that extent, and then when you get it, that it goes away so quickly.
Right.
Kind of devalues the storyline a little bit, I think. And then the second time around, that was more, I had a little bit more of a personal grievance with that. Because we went into, is it Bound for Glory?
Yeah.
The 4-way.
Right.
I was the champion. I think Velvet Sky pinned Mickie James to get the championship.
Okay, yeah.
I was never even pinned.
Right.
I love when the champions say that I was not pinned.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of me as a person going, I was never pinned,
Yeah.
it's more kind of like storyline wise, why isn't a follow up to that? There was zero follow up.
True.
I never even cut a promo
Right.
about wanting to get my championship back. There was never anything, like zero. From that moment on, I was forgotten.
And like you guys had storyline with Velvet too, so that's why.
That was so
Yes.
confusing. And
Yeah.
Velvet lost the title real quick too, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know she because they wanted to move her right into the thing
Yeah.
with Karen, which fine, but it felt like, to me, it felt like a missed opportunity.
Because at first, the Winter character had a very clear direction, it seemed like. The backstage segments were beautifully filmed.
Some of the earlier ones with you disappearing, there was just the camera work was beautiful.
So did you have a better sense of where it was going at first?
Yes, and also because Vince Russo was very receptive to talking, and we had some conversations
Right.
about like ideas and stuff like that.
But you did ultimately came back to TNA, which was so cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Katarina.
Yes. Finally, as the baby face.
Right, finally. That was another shocker too. That
Yes.
you were in this lovey-dovey relationship, which
Right.
was like, wait, this is not the Winter that we know.
That was so fun. That's like one of the funnest things.
Oh yeah?
Yes, I've ever done.
And you had a relationship with someone that just blew up recently, Joe Hendry. Yeah, tell me about working with Joe Hendry, the baby Joe Hendry.
It was really cool. I mean, obviously, first I was with Grado, and then Joe Henry came in as like his cool friend
Yeah.
that I was secretly trying to date,
Right.
or whatever it was. It was super fun, and then he made his little, he made his little intro music videos and
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah. And then you also got to wrestle some of the next generation of knockouts,
Yeah.
like Jordan Grace, Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yeah, Alicia Edwards was really great to work
She's
with.
underrated.
So that was really fun. And by the way, when you talk about fashion and stuff, those outfits I made myself.
Oh, okay, I love it. I was being really greedy though. When you came back, I was like, Soo Young versus Winter.
Yes, we did have a match one time, but not like in TNA. It was like on a house show, and we both were really pushing for us to have a feud of some kind. I don't know why it didn't happen.
We still have time. we still have time.
I might come out of retirement for that.
Wait, so I was going to ask you that. So where are you with wrestling right now?
I'm done as of right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it was partially a decision of being, on the indie circuit and not having that type of insurance,
Right.
to where it's like, okay, I've wrestled 20 years, I've been very, very lucky. But when you're on the indie circuit, not everybody is like 100% to where you necessarily trust them 100% with your,
Right.
that you might not get dropped on your head, or you
Got it.
might, and then also sometimes just stupid things happen. I've seen people, just get caught on the ring mat and then tear their ACL and stuff like that. Unless I'm really focused on pursuing a wrestling career, it's not worth that risk. And
Got it.
whereas I was at that moment in time focusing more on filmmaking and stuff like that, that I was like, okay, this is going to have to take priority.
Right.
And therefore,
Because you are a director. You're a film
Yes.
director / actress.
Yes.
And you just finished your feature film, right?
yeah, so we shot my first feature film last October. It's called Ensnared.
Okay.
Wait, what does that mean?
It means like trapped,
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
caught in a snare. as it were.
Oh, okay.
So we shot last October, and it's currently in post-production, polishing it up and hopefully releasing it later this year, let's say.
And feature film is no joke. That's and how big was your crew?
Probably, well, cast and crew all together, probably 15 to 20 people.
Wow,
so it was pretty small.
I went to film school. You went to film school too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I gave up. I mean, I still graduated with film degree, but I'm more of a journalist now because I have no people skill to like manage 15, 20 people. You're doing it. You're the ringleader of that.
Well, it kind of goes like you have to. Having that burning desire to want to put something together. My preference isn't producing. Right. You know, I don't necessarily enjoy scheduling. I don't necessarily enjoy scheduling or getting everybody together or asking people to do stuff, delegating, etc., etc. Those are not like my favorite things to do. Do I want to produce another feature? Not necessarily. Will I produce it? Quite possibly.
Probably,
you know?
Because you've done shorts before, right?
Yes.
And then web series?
Yes, My web series was literally, my crew was me with my DSLR and my sound guy.
Fans always talk about you and your career is that, you know, there's so many great nuggets, but like somehow creative has dropped the ball.
Right.
So now this time you're writing your own stuff, right?
Yes. When I was a kid, I used to write. Later on, when I discovered acting and theater and stuff like that, I wanted to do that for a while. Then I did, you know, film at university. Wrestling just kind of happened, not on accident. Like, obviously, I went to wrestling school and I started doing shows, but it seemed to just do it by itself. It wasn't like that was my big goal in life. My big goal in life was to, you know, act and write and direct and stuff like that.
Wow, okay. So, as a filmmaker, what's your thought on, like, wrestling stories in general?
Well, I loved that whole thing.
Right.
In OVW, one of my favorite things about OVW was that Al Snow was very receptive to us coming and pitching ideas and working on the storylines with him. He would take our ideas and listen, and then he would find the way to improve them if they were workable. You know, if they completely sucked, he'd be like, yeah, I don't think this is, you know. Although that's also a question of taste or opinion sometimes. But he was very good at taking them going, I like this general idea. How about if we do this? And then we were like, okay, great. So we felt very involved with our own storylines. And also he taught us a little bit. Like a wrestling storyline has a structure a little bit like a wrestling match, you know? There's the babyface shine, the heat, the comeback, and all of that. And that's how you structure the match in itself. And then also the larger storyline. Right. And then also there's a business to each match. So the match is to get the babyface to look strong or to beat the babyface down and make the audience root for the babyface because they're not getting, you know, what they want, etc., etc. So this is a slightly different thing to writing a wrestling storyline, but there's also obviously similarities. You know, with the story structure for a TV show or a film or something like that. Long story short, my sort of, I guess, disappointment with WWE was a little bit that a lot of things would change so much on the fly. You know, because I felt like the way you could really produce a great storyline is if you have it planned out. And you always have to have room for things changing because people get injured or are unavailable or the audience turns on somebody that you didn't expect them to turn on or something really ignites their, like, they love that you didn't expect, or maybe somebody has a genius idea in the last minute and goes, wouldn't it be cool if we did this thing, and it just fits and you put it in. So I appreciate all of that, but at the same time it was a little bit frustrating when so many things would like change on a dime so quickly.
Would you ever want to write wrestling storylines?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
I mean, I did hear WWE is looking for writers. So I mean, that could be a great boon to women's wrestling, I feel like. But a lot of people are curious. You did say at this point you're done with wrestling for time being.
Yes.
But would you ever answer a call for like Rumble appearance or something like that?
I want to say yes. The thing with the Rumble appearance is a little bit, it's nice to obviously to be there and be a part of it and everything like that. But I feel like you might go there and then just go into the ring and then you don't really have time to even run a spot or do anything that's worth your
you want to make
worth
it
your while.
Worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. So that's a little bit difficult to control ahead of time.
Triple
Maybe it's
H.
just because we had.
Triple H, let us know if you have a plan.
Maybe it's just like I got burned on the 25 Diva Battle Royal.
Yeah.
The ill-fated.
Right. I think everyone in that match was upset.
It was terrible. First of all, you have all these legends come down, but you don't even give them their separate entrance.
Right.
Everybody's just coming down together.
To Kid
You have
Rock.
really significant people coming that don't get a chance to shine. Then we had all of these spots worked out. It's already hard to do when everybody's in the ring from the beginning. And then about 2 minutes in, I don't know if they cut the time or if people were taking too long for their spots, but all of a sudden, referee was coming over and going, Beth Phoenix, throw everybody out.
Oh.
So, like, my spot, for example, never got to it. It was just like no time.
Okay.
And so, but it was an extension of, at that time anyways, of like the women just not being important to them.
Wow.
Whereas now maybe it's different. Obviously now you have the Royal Rumble with the girls where you do get your separate entrance and everybody gets a little bit of a chance to do a little shine and whatever. So maybe it's different. I think I'm just burnt by that experience.
That's so funny because I remember writing like an angry letter after that Battle Royale match because I was pissed that Santina won that. And I just was like, how do you bring all these legends and make them just like dance to Kid Rock?
But you know what? I didn't mind that Santina won.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, I thought actually that was a good solution because who are you going to put over in that match? Are you going to put over like a legend and put them over everybody else? Or are you going to put over an up and coming and then basically put them over everybody? I don't know. I just felt like having Santina win was a nice comedic moment that didn't hurt anybody that was in the match. That's how I felt about it.
I love that. You know what? You have such an interesting view that surprises me like over and over again. From incest to Santina. I love it. I mean, it did have a really fun like storyline that led to like Beth feud. Yeah. That is true. That is true. How can we follow up on your project?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, on Twitter. It's Katarina's Infamy on both of them.
Your movie's coming out this year.
I want to say that it will come out this year. Yes. I just decided that today. It's coming out this year for sure.
I'm excited. I just want to tell you that there are so many fans that like has such fond memory of your time in WWE. And
so nice to hear.
What do you want to tell the fans that were like huge fans of you and they were so moved by you?
Well, I just want to say, obviously, I'm immensely grateful that it's this much time later and I'm still hearing this. And for anybody that's obviously supported me throughout the years, it's just been so kind and generous with your love. I want to extend that love back to you.